What if I told you there's a group of families whose names rarely appear in headlines, yet they influence more than entire governments? They don't run for office, they don't host TED Talks, they simply control the money. And as you're about to see, their wealth isn't about luxury. It's about power. We're diving deep into the world's richest families, not just billionaires, but dynasties. Families that own industries, shape policies, and in some cases, rewrite history. And by the end of this video, you'll realize that the real elite are not the ones you think. Number 8, the Koch brothers, buying influence quietly. We start in America with the Koch family, worth an estimated $68 billion. Their company, Koch Industries, is the largest privately held firm in the US, producing everything from petroleum and asphalt to paper towels and fertilizers. But what makes the Kochs especially unique is how they've infiltrated politics without ever needing to run for office. Charles and David Koch spent billions funding think tanks, political candidates, and lobbying efforts that align with their interests, especially efforts to stop climate change legislation that could harm their oil empire. They helped shape the modern conservative movement in the US, building entire networks of influence across the media, education, and law. And when they're not influencing policy, they're buying fine art. William Koch once spent $2.3 million on a single photograph of Billy the Kid. Not a painting, a photo. To them, it was pocket change. But that's just a warm-up compared to the next family, whose house makes palaces look humble. Number 7, the Ambanis, India's trillion rupee tower. Enter the Ambani family, India's richest household, with a staggering fortune of $85 billion, and climbing. Their company, Reliance Industries, dominates India's oil, gas, telecom, and retail markets. But what really grabs attention is their home, Antilia, a 27-story skyscraper in Mumbai valued at over $2 billion. Designed to survive earthquakes and built to resemble a lotus and sun, Antilia includes a snow room that replicates winter, 6 floors of car parking, a helicopter pad, a ballroom, multiple spas, and a private movie theatre. It's the most expensive private residence in the world, and it's not even in New York or London. Mukesh Ambani and his family live in the top floors, while hundreds of staff manage the mansion below. It's opulence on another level. And yet, the Ambanis also run one of India's largest charitable foundations, funding rural education, women's health, and COVID relief. But while the Ambanis built their wealth through business, the next family made billions by striking one of the shrewdest deals in fashion history. Number 6, the Wertheimers, owning Chanel quietly. You know the name Chanel, but do you know the Wertheimer family? Back in the 1920s, Coco Chanel needed financial backing. She struck a deal with Pierre Wertheimer. He provided funding and distribution. She designed. The profits. Pierre got 70%. Coco got just 10%. The arrangement sparked decades of tension. During World War II, Chanel even tried to reclaim the company by using her Nazi connections, hoping to seize control while the Wertheimers, who were Jewish, fled France. But Pierre anticipated this. He transferred Chanel's assets to a German-aligned associate, protected the brand during the war, and reclaimed it afterward. When Coco Chanel passed away, the Wertheimers bought out her remaining shares and took full ownership. Now run by Pierre's grandsons, Alain and Gerard, the family owns 100% of Chanel, worth tens of billions. But they don't stop at fashion. They've also invested in French vineyards, racehorses, and global real estate. Despite their immense wealth, they maintain a low profile. No flashy Instagram posts, no public drama. But not every billionaire hides. The next family built their empire on something much sweeter, and every kid in the world knows their name. Number 3, the Arnauds, masters of luxury. Led by Bernard Arnault, the Arnault family controls LVMH, the world's largest luxury goods empire. Their portfolio? Louis Vuitton, Dior, Fendi, Givenchy, Tiffany & Co., Moet & Chandon, Hennessy, and dozens more. With a net worth close to $240 billion, Bernard is currently the richest man on the planet. His acquisitions weren't just smart, they were ruthless. He bought struggling brands, turned them into status symbols, and created a luxury empire so powerful it rivals governments in global influence. The Arnauds own a 150-year-old castle near Bordeaux, a palace in Paris, a $115 million yacht, and a private island. At one point, they had 3 private jets, until Bernard sold them to avoid scrutiny during France's climate protests. Despite the glamour, the Arnauds donate millions to disaster relief and arts funding, including $234 million to help rebuild Notre Dame Cathedral after the 2019 fire. But even with their dominance in luxury, they can't match the most mysterious and most controversial dynasty in modern history. Number 2, the Rothschilds, the Quiet Titans. The Rothschild family has been the subject of conspiracy theories, documentaries, and political debates for over 2 centuries. Founded by Mayer Amschel Rothschild in 18th century Germany, the family expanded across Europe, placing sons in London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt. Together, they built an international banking network that quietly funded empires. Today, the Rothschilds control holdings in mining, real estate, energy and finance, including stakes in Glencore Mining, $127 billion, Rio Tinto, $103 billion, Agora Oil, Aright Capital Partners, La Compagnie Financière Rothschild. They own over $25 billion in real estate, including Waddesdon Manor and Chateau Mouton Rothschild, and maintain one of the largest private art collections in Europe. Some family members, like Nat Rothschild, make headlines for yacht purchases, like the $102 million Planet 9, but most remain in the shadows, avoiding media and public attention entirely. Whether they truly control the world is debatable, but one thing isn't: they've held generational influence longer than any billionaire today. But even they can't outshine the richest family alive. Number 1, the Al Saud family, richer than countries. Meet the House of Saud, the royal family of Saudi Arabia. Their combined wealth is estimated at $1.4 trillion. Their oil company, Saudi Aramco, is the world's most valuable, worth over $8 trillion and responsible for 15% of global oil. That's not a company, that's geopolitical leverage. King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman live in golden palaces, travel with their own golden escalators, and are known for spending hundreds of millions on castles, yachts, and mega projects. MBS bought the Chateau Louis XIV for over $300 million, and he's developing Neom, a futuristic desert city with floating buildings and robotic servants. The cost? $1.1 trillion. They own private islands, $500 million yachts, and even a $3.5 billion hotel in Mecca. This isn't just wealth, it's total dominion over oil, land, and legacy. Their fortune doesn't just move markets, it shapes entire civilizations. The hidden thrones. From candy to castles, oil fields to fashion houses, these families have built more than empires. They've built dynasties, some in silence, some in gold, and all beyond the reach of any tax bracket. So the next time you hear about the richest man alive, remember, real wealth isn't loud, it doesn't trend, it whispers behind closed doors and moves the world.